AI clones Russian attack on UK foretold by MH, April 21st, 2023.
Clayton Morris discusses information first published by Billy Meier decades ago. I know it's terribly impolite to be truthful in today's corrupt world, but while it's nothing compared to what Billy Meier has endured, we've patiently suffered an assortment of dummies masquerading as scientists and/or UFO experts. To a person, they have tried to dismiss, attack, ignore, and suppress the potentially civilization-saving information coming from this one man with a verifiable, error-free track record of prophetic accuracy. These uselessly self-serving poseurs and quacks like Lex Fridman, Eric Weinstein, Robin Hanson, Jeremy Rice, Avi Loeb, Seth Shostak, Bill Diamond, the clueless Dr. Jonathan Jiang and Joe Rogan, who's managed to interview every fake and phony in UFOlogy, won't even acknowledge the information, perhaps believing they reside not on this planet, but on higher and more lofty planes. So, while they've greatly helped to keep people in the dark about the even darker impending times, we continue to use every opportunity to point out how the time is, nonetheless, fulfilling. For example, Clayton Morris opens a recent redacted video with the words,
"The battle for the Arctic Circle is getting hotter by the minute."
But where did we first hear about this battle? New Russian military move predicted by UFO prophet in 2012. Of course, events have progressed or degenerated because of things like the attack on the Nord Stream pipeline, allegedly by Norway and the US, so skeptics might think that Meier missed something. However, Meier had already specifically foretold what's coming to Scandinavia, as I also sent to Clayton.
Foretold in 1987.
Yet Russia will not rest and will attack Scandinavia, and in doing so will embroil all of Europe. And months before that, a terrible hurricane will have swept across northern Europe, causing great devastation and destruction. It must still be stated that the Russian attack will occur during the summer, in fact, starting from Arkhangelsk. Denmark will not be dragged into the war due to the insignificance of this country.
Russians preparing predicted attacks on US, Canada, and Scandinavia?
Once France has fallen, a war to conquer Spain and England will take place. Subsequently, an alliance with the forces of the aggressors will be formed, which will invade Scandinavia. The aggressors from the east will force the French army to join their military forces and lead a war of conquest against the northern countries of Europe, invading and conquering Sweden and Norway. Subsequently, these northern countries will be annexed by Russia. Military forces will also attack Finland, whereby many will be killed, and an enormous destruction will be caused, after which the complete dissolution of the country will occur, and the Russian forces will settle in it for a very long time.
Bring in the clones.
The irresponsible politicians will unscrupulously exercise their power, assisted by scientists and obedient military forces serving them, who together hold a deadly scepter and will create clone-like beings which will be bred in a total lack of conscience and will be scientifically manipulated to become killer machines. Division by division and devoid of any feelings, they will destroy, murder, and annihilate everything. At the same time, the danger could become reality that the human combat machines, the military clones, will gain their independence, and under their own management will bring death, devastation, destruction, and annihilation to the human beings of Earth and to the planet. If the Third World War will actually happen, as calculations and observations appear to indicate to be probable now, and also during the approaching few decades, then, as now, the civilian population will above all have to bear the brunt of the enormous suffering in tremendous numbers in this entire catastrophe and, last but not least, the fault of the irresponsible scientists who by cloning will create human machines for military purposes, devoid of conscience and feelings, and will create immensely deadly and all-annihilating computer-like weapons. Even when the North American continent will be stricken by the most terrible catastrophe which has ever been recorded, evil military powers will wreak havoc with computerized and nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons, whereby it will also happen that computerized weapons become independent and cannot be controlled any longer by human beings. Destruction of war will descend on the northern countries, as strong military forces will invade them from the east and will pillage and murder as well as use bombs and missiles, like hail coming down, and hitherto unknown weapons of laser and computer-controlled types which will destroy and annihilate everything, whereby the first target will be Hungary, and after that will follow Austria and northern Italy. Not only nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons will be used en masse, but also enormously deadly systems of computer-controlled weapons that are only in the beginning stages of development today, or will be invented and constructed during the third millennium. Yet all the apocalyptic events will not only be brought about due to the use of unbelievably deadly and destructive weapons, such as chemical, laser, and others, and by cloned murder machines, but in addition to this, the earth and nature, maltreated to the deepest depths by the irresponsible human beings of Earth, will rise up and cause destruction and bring death onto the Earth. Arkhangelsk.
Regarding Meier's 1987 predictions about a Russian attack from Arkhangelsk**, from a formerly skeptical scientist astonished at Billy Meier's prophetic accuracy. Then we move on to this already familiar information: Ukraine-Russia war. Russia will send disgustingly damp Britain into the abyss. In addition to Meier specifically warning of an attack on the UK, presumably by Russia, towards the end of the 1982 interview, it was a year earlier that he predicted what might make Britain disgustingly damp. And all of this destruction perhaps without any help from Apophis or from the astronomer who must by now indeed realize he didn't co-discover it. Humankind,